Hey, hello, good morning, everybody. We've been talking a little bit about could we try out Dreadhorde Arcanist alongside Arena of Glory? Arena of Glory has kind of made me rethink the playability of some cards in general. Some of these cards have not been good or playable, like Warren Instigator. Warren Instigator plus Arena of Glory could be so cool. We put Kiki Jiki, Goblin Matron to play turn 2, but gets blocked very, very hard. That being said, I was thinking a little bit more. We just came up. We're just hot off of a challenge top 8 with the Jund Delirium deck, and playing that deck. I'm just kind of really highly valuing 3 toughness creatures in these kind of decks. Basically, I simply put, if your creatures just don't die to Pyroclasm and all of Boros Energy's creatures die to Pyroclasm, it puts you in a pretty good position to win those matchups. Where you just have like your Goyfs, your Arcanists, your Fear of Missing Out, your Channelers in play. They have a little board, you just Pyroclasm, one-sided, Plague Wind, win the game, has been at least very common in Jund Delirium. And in the 2 matches I played against Boros was also very important too. And so like this having 3 toughness is a pretty big deal. Being able to go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 1 removal spell, haste Arcanist, and cast another spell is pretty cool. And then also the ability of Fear of Missing Out to, 1, work well with Arena of Glory in general, but to also untap Dreadhorde Arcanist and potentially let you cast 2 spells a turn is pretty cool. So this was my first draft. I changed like 1 sideboard card. This is my first draft for this deck, and I trophied with it yesterday. The league was like a little soft. I played against like a really bad Spirits deck, and I got really flooded. And like one of the game I got so flooded, like I just can't imagine winning against like any other deck. I played against like green black Urza Saga, which that deck didn't look very good. And also one of my Boros Energy opponents made a misclick on Thraben Charm. But I think I probably still would have won that game anyways. But I will say, despite that league being kind of soft, the fact that I was 2-0 against Energy was really encouraging for this deck, and the fact that when we've been playing the Jund Delirium deck, we've also been having a favorable record against Energy, and I think I'm starting to figure out the formula for beating Energy decks as like other creature decks, which is very important. If you're going to play a deck like this and you don't feel like you at least have a somewhat reasonable chance, if you're a little bit favored against Boros, there's not much reason to play this because Boros is just so popular. But again, this formula of just like a lot of a low mana curve with your creatures just bigger than their creatures, tons of removal with Arcanist, Orcish Bowmasters is great against them, Nethergoyf is great against them, Pyroclasm is great against them. It just has felt like a pretty solid formula overall. So I will say that there's a chance that Arcanist could just be Amped Raptor. It feels very weird to me to play a deck where Amped Raptor could just hit every card and we're not playing it. That being said, we do have a lot of cards that are not good hits off of it. The Heats, the Tarfires, the Inquisition Thoughtseizes after turn 2 can be quite bad. We have a lot of bad hits off Amped Raptor. And I also kind of simply think that I want to be playing all these other 2-drops instead, unless we kind of feel like Arcanist is suboptimal, then Raptor just gets in there. And so I'm also feeling kind of optimistic about that, although it makes the Pyroclasm plan worse. The fact that if Arcanist is a little suboptimal, then Raptor gets in there. But we trophied our first league with Arcanist. I only cast it once or twice, so I don't really know what's going on exactly with this card. But I think I want to keep it for now. Kroxa was also really good. Kroxa was like really overperforming. Could maybe see winning the second Kroxa. Okay. So we just folded Chalice on 1, nothing in the board even. I guess so. I guess we do fold the Chalice on 1 at the moment. I think that might be okay. I mean, against the Chalice decks, you can bring in the Charmaws and the Shatter Assumptions. We might be a little too cold to it. We could also discard it. Not a ton of Chalices either at the moment, where it's like the most common Eldrazi deck is this like Utopia Sprawl build. I don't think they really play Chalice, do they? A lot of non-Boros decks are ring decks. Bowmaster is good against Dimir. It is like you just cannot not play Bowmaster right now. It's just not a non-starter for me, I think. What are my thoughts on Bolt versus Heat? Well, as you can see, I have 4 Unholy Heat and I have 0 Lightning Bolt. If you play, I'm gonna lead on the Goyf here. If you play 4 Bolt and 0 Heat, and your opponent resolves a Psychic Frog. If you're our Ricket Tracker's back, awesome, thank you, Dan. If your opponent resolves a Psychic Frog, if your opponent resolves an Oculus, you I've lost the game. Kind of. It is not an option, I think, to play 4-Bolt for Tarfire. Tarfire is also mandatory in your Nethergoyf, Fomo, Dragon Rage's Channeler deck. Kind of funny, we get to show this off right here. Why not both? Well, so we have... Why not both Bolt and Heat? So Bolt is worse than Heat. It's worse than Tarfire. How many 1-mana shocks are you wanting to play? I'm wanting to play 8. If you want to play more, we could talk about it. But I want to play 8. Dan is Dan Bopes, who does the record tracker thing here. Everybody say thank you, Dan. Does this deck feel better than the Jund deck from Challenge on Saturday? I mean, I played one league with this deck, and I've trophied with it. The Jund deck, we top rated the Challenge, so it's, you know, it's early, too early to say. I will say that I like being able to play a ton of discard spells. I like to be able to play a slightly slower, more controlling game plan. I'm not sure about this Marsh Flats. I think I'm actually going to keep it. Was Unearth a consideration? I would probably play Claim to Fame over Unearth, because we don't have any 3-drops, but I did consider it, and I considered no thanks. Yeah, Tarfire is 2 types. Wander 60 months. These are Goyf is a 3/4. Wander the 60 months. Thank you, welcome back. They have their own Goyf here. Also a 3/4. I'm drawing a Marsh Flats. Getting Delirium would be a pretty big deal here. Also, kind of looks like I don't know if this is Hollow One. I don't know if this is Jund Delirium, but we're playing against a pretty similar deck, which is interesting. So I can attack and try to Tarfire their Nethergoyf, and then play Fomo post-combat. Or I can go, like, Tarfire, see if I get Delirium. If I get Delirium, haste Fomo. But then they just block the Fomo. Let's attack with just the Goyf here. So if they have their own Tarfire, it's not ideal. Looks like they don't. They do grow the Goyf to 4/5 though. So let's see if our Goyf grows to 4/5. We potentially can get it even bigger if we need to. But we did hit a creature, so now their Goyf dies, our Goyf doesn't. Our channel has Delirium. We are confirmed against Hollow One. But we are very ahead on board. Fomo, draw a card. Into a Dreadhorde Arcanist that we can haste and flash back a Tarfire if we want to next turn. Potentially untap it with the Arcanist and play with the Fomo and play two Tarfires, although we would lose Delirium off of the second one. This would shrink by 2, so you have to think about that. I feel like the Flytrap Arena combo is stronger than we have here compared to the Jund list. Well, that's very valid. With Peace and Love, Let Me Cook. I've played one league. I've trophied with it. Let's give this one its due diligence. Let's give it some time. Our curve is lower. We get to play more discard spells. Our card quality is potentially higher. We're less disruptible. Yes, the Jund Flytrap deck is good. We just top 4 to Challenge. Let's work on some other stuff. Did I see Matt's Brood-Scale Bloodchief deck from Challenge? Not only did I see it, Matt beat me in that event. Okay, so I can Tarfire, Flashback Tarfire, kill the Hollow One. Oh, so I guess they just can block the Arcanist, though. Let me see what we draw. Might just untap the Nethergoyf. Okay, so this grows the Goyf. Potentially, we could mill something else to Arcanist back. It's a Bowmaster. Bowmaster is pretty good against them. So I think what we're going to do is go haste our Dreadhorde Arcanist. And then I'm going to attack with everything, untapping the Nethergoyf with the Fomo, not the Arcanist. But I'm going to Tarfire the Hollow One. Sorry, Lucy's barking at something. And then I'm going to Tarfire the Hollow One so they can't block my Fomo. So if they double block my Nethergoyf, both of their creatures die. And if they block my Fomo, then the Hollow One dies. And if they block just the Arcanist, it dies. But then we get to get in for a lot because the Goyf gets to attack again. I love Arcanist, but it's def awkward for getting rid of Delirium. I guess, brother. I'll tell you what. Please. I don't know what else I can say. I give a whole deck tech. I go, Arcanist might not be optimal. I trophied our first league. I want to keep trying it. I don't know how many ways I can say this. Um, okay, so they may not realize I could grow the Goyf to kill both of these, but I get it. I understand the concerns. I'm working on it. I'm trying it out. I just don't want to talk in circles too much. I've played one league. I trophied with it. Arcanist might not be optimal. The deck might not be broken. We maybe didn't break it. Good morning to everybody. Arcanist, a lot better with haste. Why did I slot an Arcanist to begin with? I missed the deck tech. I don't know. Okay, so Arcanist is better with Arena of Glory. It's also very good with FOMO. You get 2 attack steps. And that's kind of the general thought, is circling back to this card with 2 new cards, really upgrading the power level. This card is banned in Legacy. It is a pretty strong card. One that I have wanted to see see if we can do anything with it in Modern for a long time. Well, let you know, over the weekend I played the Asmo Yeager deck you copied. I went 5-1 through 2. This feels really good. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to trying it yet. I think good feedback. Thank you. So they're going to detect his Phoenix onto the Nethergoyf so that they can block my Channeler. They're just dead on board, right? To be flashing back the Tarfire. Alright. So up a game against Hollow One. So we have 2 Klieg main and 2 Nihil Spellbomb side as far as our graveyard hate goes. There's no way to pump the Arcanist, but we also have no instants or sorceries in the main board, at least, that cost more than 1 mana. I think I'm keeping the Kroxa in. I think I'm going to go -2 Thoughtseize. Could Voidwalker or Blood Moon be strong in this archetype? I mean, maybe. Voidwalker's very awkward in a deck that's really in on Arena of Glory. Blood Moon is also is viable for sure. I've been liking Damping Sphere a lot in these sideboards, though, where it's like Storm and Titan are 2 pretty obnoxious decks that you have to like very much consider for your sideboards. I'm gonna keep this on the draw, by the way. Yeah, like basically all of like these kind of decks are gonna kind of struggle against those archetypes, Titan and Storm, and you have to dedicate a lot of sideboard cards for them. So the fact that Damping Sphere just covers both bases really well makes me just usually want to lean towards that and like this in Jund Delirium. We're also like a 19 land deck, so hitting our 3rd land on curve is not something we're going to do, with that much consistency. Yeah, so trying out Shatter Assumptions. I've been liking it. I had 2 yesterday though, and I drew 2. It was like really awkward, so I decided to go down to just the 1 copy. But I think the first copy is still worth toying with right now. Okay, Inquiry and Nethergoyf. Let me just take the Goyf. I'm a little confused. I guess they saw a card they really liked on top. Okay, no, they already drew it though. Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I usually just slam the Inquiries here. I'm assuming they drew the Goyf off of the Bauble. Did mess with Arcanist Phoenix? I didn't mess with it. It's kind of interesting with Flame of Venor, I agree. Hopefully this finds me some lands. 3 non-lands entered the yard. I also have 7 types. Look at this 7/8 Goyf. Thank you, Burning Inquiry. Land. Let's go. Yeah, playing the Spellbomb out could be pretty good. I think I'm just gonna heat the Channeler though. Actual all of our types in the yard here. Thank you, Burning Inquiry. Yours is a 5/6? Pathetic. Stay in hand. Thank you, Burning Inquiry. And the Kroxas of the yard. So I can even Bowmaster the Nethergoyf and pop my Nihil Spellbomb. Do they have a Phoenix in the yard? No Phoenix in the yard. I could pop. I think I should maybe just pop it now to play around Phoenix. Let's see the Woodland deck from Friday Challenge. No, I did not. I think I saw. Oh, yes, I did see this one. I think it's pretty cool. I have seen this one now. Okay, we are 1-0. We're on the draw with a 1-land triple discard hand. Is it Utopia? Just better. Utopia Sprawl? Probably. Artifact count could be kind of low there. I've not done my revised Image 3 tier list. Still working on it. It's just taking a long time. It is so crazy we draw land. I don't think the math is really there for us. Okay, sample size 2, successes 18. We need 1 land. We'd also draw a Bauble. So this percentage is a little higher. We could draw a Bauble. We could play Channeler at first. What are our chances to draw 1 in the first 3 draws? 72. I'm not sure. I think it's pretty borderline. It's probably closer to like 73, 74, 75 with the whole Bauble situation if we draw Bauble turn 1. Okay, well, kind of an easy take the only other land in their hand, and now we're both on a 1-lander opponent. How does it feel? Oh, well, damn it. Bottom 22, welcome back. Appreciate ya. Okay, if they top deck a land, I should be able to top deck a land. They find a Flare of Denial, so still no second land here. Okay, let's just go Channeler, Bauble. Math-based keep. I mean, it's very borderline, but yeah. Decide not to flare. My top card is a Thoughtseize. Don't need the 4th one. They land, unfortunately. So I might just want to upkeep Unholy Heat. I guess they have an Archaeologist, so they're gonna have another creature for flare. Would I consider doing the image list on stream? No. It's definitely off-stream content. Like these videos that I record, I don't know what it is, but you would think someone who like streams full time would have an easier time recording this kind of stuff, but I have to do take after take after take for like the pre-recorded content. I just feel like I get too rambly. I just ramble and ramble and ramble. I do it again and make it shorter so often. So they're probably gonna flare this to protect their Belcher. Let's keep that. Doesn't mean no Delirium for me unless they don't flare this. Then I could Heat or something. We can get Delirium next turn probably. Could get very greedy. It actually doesn't really make sense to get greedy and take the land because then they can just counter my next Thoughtseize. What kind of headphones are you using? I use AirPods. These are Sony earbuds. Or sorry, these are not. I don't know. I have a couple different headphones. Sometimes I just feel like using the wired ones. Esther got me these. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Esther's. I thought there would be no fact checking.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I want to resolve my Arcanist. So we'll see if they counter the Thoughtseize here. Okay, so we'll just let them counter this and get Delirium, I guess. Counterspell mystery card over there. The Tarfire technically takes 1 turn off the clock, but they do have a counterspell still. Do you have a Tamashi in the deck? Or some Tamashis in the deck? I'm going to exile the Belcher and just see what we draw. Another Arcanist. I'm going to graveyard the Arcanist. Doesn't line up great against the counterspell. And like another Channeler. Or just like any 1-mana spell would kind of just be a better draw, I think. Surprised they didn't counterspell Thoughtseize. I am also surprised they didn't counterspell the Thoughtseize. I would assume that the thinking is that the Whir is like not going to do a great job actually finding the Belcher, so saving it for like more pressure I think makes sense. But I kind of felt like they would just counter it. I'm going to fire off the Tarfire here, despite the fact that they counter it. It takes a turn off my clock. They're going to keep Fomo on top. Too bad we don't have an Arena of Glory. The fact that Fomo just cantrips if you top deck it is such a huge deal for this card. Four, 1, 3, go. Happy 2 years. Thank you. Welcome back. So what's awesome here is I'm not dead to a Belcher. They're just going to die to my channel, or probably if they draw Belcher here. They suspend the Lotus Bloom. Do they have like a sink into the Stupor? Y'all remember Luris, dude? I could have put Luris into my hand. I think I saved the Heat for Tamashii. Not that Tamashii does anything, I guess. I'm just not going to main phase Heat the Archaeologist. Okay, I guess Dismember. I don't think they usually... also, happy 2 years, 413. I don't think they usually main deck Dismember. Alright. Up a game against Blue Belcher. So I was thinking about how I didn't have a lot in the sideboard for this matchup, and I was thinking how possibly just our main deck configuration is okay against it, and I wanted to test the matchup before really thinking too much about it. And we have one game one here, so that's optimistic. I think I'm gonna cut one Unholy Heat, 2 Tarfires, a Pithing Needle, and 2 Spellbombs. Heat's being able to kill the Archaeologist and Tamashii is a bit better than Tarfire, so I want a couple Tarfires for types. Tarfire. Oh, we do have Jegantha. So, I mean, I guess I should have put it in their hand there. Acidic 26 months, they could come back. Yeah, this is Shatter Assumptions. It's just something I want to be trying against the Eldrazi decks. 3 mana, discard all colorless cards. I don't love No Pressure. It's pretty hard to mulligan double discard spell in this kind of matchup, though. We do have Jegantha as pressure. Plus Arena of Glory. Alright, I'm going to take your lands. Maybe you could preordain into another one. I'm taking your land. What is that? Untimely Malfunction? Destroy target artifact. Changes target spell or ability with a single target. Ooh, that one's kind of scary. They find a second Lotus Bloom, which I don't really like so much. So I guess I just main phase the Bowmaster. Sugar Daddy, 50 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Are we going back to Archway plus Urza sometime this week? Any new idea to prove the archetype? I'd love that deck. I think it's sick. I'd be open to working on it again. For some reason, there's this weird dynamic where I feel like people are not clicking on that one. People have not been like showing up to watch that one as much. But I think the people who have been watching it have really liked it. So it's kind of a weird dynamic going on at the moment, I guess. But I am open to playing it some more. It has certainly been pretty nice. I think we're to surveil this turn. So they have another Let's just take this so they can't dig for Belcher as well. I think that deck has been like really exciting, really promising. I think there's like a chance that it's like one of the better ways to build Eldrazi at the moment, and I've been pretty into it. Do you need more thoughts on the Matt Nussberg skill list of the challenge? So overall, I like it. I watched Matt play against Boros, and the matchup seems scary. Especially if they know what's going on. Overall, I thought Matt's list looks really good. I remember, like, in the middle of the stream, we opened up a Google Doc that had his list, and he had 2 beside you. Like, the one thing I really wanted the main deck to have was one Shifting Woodland as a microspawn target, and that is exactly what. Oh damn! Top deck the Belcher, and that is exact. And like then we saw that Matt had had Shifting Woodland in the deck, so we're not going to be able to present lethal. We have, I think, only the one Pithing Needle as an out here. This could be a really sweet turn where we would like double discard them with Fomo and plus Arcanist. But yeah, I'm just gonna let them belch me and see what their list looks like. I am giving up here, but I just want to see the list. I think access to Ugin's Lab and the good 7-drops changes. Yeah, so yeah, that I think that I agree. Playing Ugin's Lab in this build could be good. I don't understand exactly why we have one card in the Great Creator and what looks like a big Karn sideboard. Like, why, like, we have the 4th Bladed Blood Chief in the board and the first Karn. I don't exactly understand this. This is maybe too advanced deck building for my brain. I don't like playing Kozilek's Return and Basking Brood-Scale in the same list. I think that probably is bad deck building. Especially with like 4 total. I might be wrong about that. Okay, so sorry, I forgot to look at. I can see it here. Okay, Tamashi, 1 Scolding. Yeah, okay, nothing else really besides like seeing 1 Scolding. So basically, every time I see the list built like this, people have gone down to 1 copy of Urza Saga, and so you can just microspawn for your 1 Saga to tutor up your blade. So you can play more. So you can play Ugin's Lab, which I think is maybe okay, but I'm not sure. I would want to see like a lot of matches with both. This Kessig Wolf run seems kind of bad. I just don't like. You just don't have a beatdown plan to like complement it. There are other utility lands you could play. Second Saga comes to mind. Well, we have our Pithing Needle. Keep the FOMO. Goblin Charbelcher. Your turn. He, Matt Nass, parentheses, did comment begrudgingly the deck should probably be on 4-ish One Rings. Yeah, Ring over Thought-Not-Seer. It's like Ring versus Thought-Not-Seer, and kind of seems like the Ring could be better. I agree. All right, I'm going to play the Arcanist here. Unfortunately. Casting is another wolf run, is another win condition with the combo. Give infinite attack, trample to random body. Okay. I'm more on board. Dude, the Arcanist is not even able to scream. Why are we playing the card? I won my RCQ. This week it was 7 Grisper's skill list. Awesome, yeah. Very cool. Congrats. Did ever try out Grist, Voracious Larva, and a black-green Soul Trader shell? Yeah, I think so. So if I want to keep my fear of missing out, I can't play the Goyf this turn. I think I should play the Goyf this turn. Is Tarmo too bad for Modern? Tarmogoyf? Yeah, Tarmogoyf isn't great. Like, there are better options, I think. Okay, they find a Lotus Bloom off the Architect. Nethergoyf is, like, largely better. They just printed Fear of Missing Out, so if you want to play a 2-mana creature that cares about cards in the yard, Fear of Missing Out is so strong. Much better than Tarmogoyf. You have a Johnny in white. Like, it's... Tarmogoyf is kind of weirdly better with all of the Delirium stuff going on. Like, if you play against fellow Delirium decks, it's there's some stuff to like about those spots of those matchups. But I would say overall, I think I'm actually gonna discard the Bowmasters so my Goyf is bigger. And then if they flare, then the Goyf is also bigger. Just surveil main phase. Yeah, I think overall there's not like really many good reasons to play Tarmogoyf in your decks. I think Charmo is fantastic in anything playing green as a sideboard 3-of. I mean, I love like crazy comments, like, I love creative comments. I don't understand what this means. Would you play 3 Charmagoy for the sideboard of Titan, the sideboard of of Yawgmoth, the sideboard of Eldrazi? Anything playing green? Why are they in the main deck if they're so good in the sideboard? They're just generic big creatures, right? But I mean, I love the energy, I will say. I'm not. Just help me understand where we're coming from, maybe. Yeah, it is a very Chad comment, I think. All right, my opponent's down to 7. Yeah, I don't even think it makes the cut in the Jund Delirium deck. We have tried it. Like, it's been a card we've, um, I feel given like a fair shake to. Preordain. Yes. Maybe they flare. Oh, they concede. Love that for us. 2-0. I guess I'm now 7-0 with this deck. I guess we're not 7. How good has Arcanist been? Arcanist has been like solid. I'm not sure if it's better than Raptor or not. For to some extent, like just having 3 toughness and letting you have like this Pyroclasm plan against energy, like that dynamic feels really important to me, and it's like kind of one of the main reasons to even like be here. Congrats on top 8 this weekend. Any changes planned to the list? I like the list overall. I think that you could maybe play some extra cyber cards against combo in general. Like just like I mean that is kind of the deck, right? Is that you're like game 1 like trying to race combo, and then you're trying to facilitate like different cyber plans against them. And 2 of our losses were to Brood Scale combo and to Mono Blue Belcher, so potentially we could be just sideboarding a little bit differently against those decks. Like Pithing Needle is a card that comes to mind. Collector Oof is a card that comes to mind. It's just like shut down the artifact part of their combo. But I haven't really been thinking too much about how to change the list. I'm just mostly working on other stuff. So I put on a mold of 5. So we're on the play against living end. Let me take that ardent plea, I suppose. Third season the board. Maybe. I mean, Thoughtseize is pretty solid. I think I'm just going to main phase the Bowmaster here. Not really super prepped for Living End. It hasn't been as popular lately. We do have a couple spell bombs, and then yeah, that's mostly it, I think. So I want to Thoughtseize to try to take another discard spell. Sorry, Cascade spell. Seems like I should probably take the sink. Did we try Claim Fame? I didn't try Claim Fame. Tell me what you would cut for Claim Fame, you know. I did consider it, but I haven't actually put the card in the deck and cast it in a long time. L's the gift us up decline. Thank you so much. Or Keith the Beast. Thank you so much. So opponent just not Cyclone. I may regret this. I'm gonna cycle the Cling to Dust instead of exiling the Subtlety. I want to keep the ball rolling if possible. Bowmaster is kind of underwhelming in this meta. I sincerely don't know why. Like, could you support that with anything? Because I think the card is good in almost every matchup. It is great against Boros, especially since they started playing the ring. It is great against Dimir. They have a lot of card draw. The majority of other decks also play the One Ring. I'd say it's like maybe not that good against like exactly Jund Delirium. But like I just don't know exactly where we're coming from saying that. I think I'm just mostly trying to dodge a Cascader here for 1 turn. Uh-oh. Okay, concedes. Let's go. That's not where I thought that was going. You know how I kind of figured we were going to get there is we're playing against another streamer, Lord Beerus. I just kind of felt like we were going to get the run good against another streamer for some reason. Okay, Shatter Assumptions is 3 mana. You discard all of your Cascade cards. I'm not sure about that one, y'all. Sly Croissant, 21 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Maybe on the play. -1 Arcanist, -1 Cling. 2 Cling is mandatory for Flage. +2 Claim Flame is a starting point to see how good Copium is. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the feedback with the cut. I'm not interested at all in cutting the second Cling. Yeah, I think you could maybe cut an Arcanist, play Claim Flame. Seems okay. I think I'm just going to keep the 4 in for just now, but we'll maybe make some changes if we play a second league of this, which we probably will. Ardent Plea also. What it's saying also, I mean, I just don't want to bring in 3 mana discard spell on the draw against Living End, but I think on the play, which we may be, if we have game 3, we may bring it in. Okay, I'm not going to mulligan a Nihil Spellbomb on the draw either. Is Kroxa back? Kroxa's okay. Sometimes it just comes back and kills them. Like a lot of times you get in the yard, it comes back 3 damage, then you escape at 3 damage, maybe haste with Arena of Glory 6 damage. Versus another Mold of 5. Good news for us. I think Sphere is better than Kroxa. Sphere is bad against Living End, almost just period. It is, I think, a pretty people boarded it a lot against Living End, but I think it's quite bad. You basically spend 2 mana to make their combo cost 1 extra mana, but because you spend 2 mana to time walk yourself, to do nothing, you just give your opponent all of the time in the world. You give your opponent all of the time in the world to just spend that extra mana to combo. It is I agree it's a card I see a lot, but it is one I kind of can't encourage you strongly enough to not play it against Living End. About the Black Overlord and a more Sultai-leaning Living End. I think it's interesting. I'll give a little bit of sauce away. I have been thinking about playing Black Overlord with Besiege the Mirror, so you can Besiege the Mirror for Living End. This has been something I've been thinking about a little bit. Potentially also playing Bloodbraid Marauder and no 1-drops. I'm not sure if this is something we'll do or not, but it is something I've been considering. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just happy enough with this. I just have a heat to kill the subtlety. I guess I don't have Delirium right now, but I will if I Inquisition first. Yeah, I'll just play another Dreadhorde Arcanist. Have I tried this? And then you can you get to sack your Overlord to cast Living End, and then you get to Living End your Overlord back into play. So that's gonna be first on my list to work on tonight. I didn't get to it yesterday. Our backup deck for today though is pretty cool. I don't know if we're gonna get to it either because this deck is also the deck we're playing right now is pretty dope. I'm gonna try Besiege with Belcher. I haven't. The thing is in the mono black shell, if you're not playing Living End and if you're playing Living End, you have Orc army tokens. You actually have stuff to discard for value. But it just doesn't feel like you have the stuff to discard for value if you're not playing if you're not in on Living End. Interesting. So I have to take the Sink into the Stupor, and then I get to go Unholy Heat the Subtlety, and then I get to Inquisition the Ardent Plea, and then they get to turtle back something, but then I have Spellbomb to counter the next Living End. Yeah, Shatter Assumptions is for the Eldrazi matchups. It's a card that I think is very good against them, and just I haven't seen many people play. So I've just kind of been interested in. I guess they might turtle bounce my Arcanist, but that would be okay. It's a card I'm very interested to try because I just haven't seen anybody else try it, but I'm not exactly convinced that it's great or anything. Okay. So my opponent's hand is Leyline. Sorry, what's the other card? I revealed Leyline, Ardent Plea, Sync. Okay, so they still have the Plea, right? Duh. So I think I play the Arcanist to threaten an answer to the Ardent Plea. Exile target colorless creature, gain life equals its power. Well, you're not losing to these Eldrazi decks because they play a big colorless creature. You lose to these Eldrazi decks because they have a ton of card advantage. Second Living End down. And then my Dreadhorde Arcanist gets replaced. So their hand is Leyline of the Void, mystery card. Let's just go ahead and Thoughtseize them again. Or sorry, Inquisition them again. Blood Moon or Bust, the 16 months. Sorry, no Blood Moons here. Maybe next time. I do want to kind of just fill the graveyard a little bit, so seems like an okay one to discard. We could double Thoughtseize both Leylines out of their hand this turn if we want to. Okay, they just concede. Okay, GG's. 3-0, 8-0 overall. Obviously running kind of hot, right? So I'll say that I've been thinking a little bit about circling back to the Domain Devotion Enchantress deck, where that deck was always, I thought, the best build of Enchantress. Leyline Scion is very good at the moment, and I agree with Jeskai being off Wrath the Skies. It's a little bit more interesting. The presence of Nykthos plus Leyline plus a bunch of other stuff gave you like a secondary mana engine to Sanctum Weaver, which is partially like what you're trying to do too, is have like a secondary mana engine, which I think is interesting. The secondary mana engine being Pearl Earl. Nykthos is a lot better because it's just a land. It's harder to interact with. And that deck maybe got better with like the Green Overlord, where like that is a card that's contributing to Devotion. It gives you Domain. You maybe don't have to play Triumphs in the mana base anymore, similar to the other Devotion deck we played recently. So I kind of rambling, but I'm just trying to say like I'm wanting to build Devotion in that direction instead of in this direction. I like just kind of said we put Hydra, Pearlier are kind of weak cards. I also didn't even love I don't even love Grove Confinement either. In a world where people are just getting to play a lot of copies of Break the Ice, when people are getting to play a lot of copies of so not Break the Ice, on Static Prison, Sink into the Stupor. I just don't think this combo is good anymore. I think there's just too many answers to it. I think I gotta keep this FOMO. Easy Ephemerate. So cool list overall. That's the direction I'll take Enchantress, and maybe I'll spend some time working on it too. Having Shroud is relevant. It's relevant. Obviously, the card has text, but like doesn't even protect your Light Paws. You know what I mean? All right, so taking this hit. So I'm going to start off by going Haste, FOMO, discard Tarfire. Ooh. So let's say I Heat the Archaeologist. I'm lucky enough to hit a land, artifact, enchantment, creature. So kind of likely, right? I hit them for 8 and 8, down to 5, and then they're dead next turn. I'm going to go for that. They're just too likely to be able to chump the Goyf. And we did hit Delirium. Seemed pretty likely. I loved your Red Marauder Rhinos deck stream recently. I was able to trophy a Modern League with my own version. Okay, I'll take a peek. Well, Dreadhorde would have been by trophy deck. I trophy with this deck off stream. Is 404. If you get a working link, I'll take a peek. So I think I want to try to set up to haste this Dreadhorde Arcanist next turn. And then I need to think about... So if I heat the frog, they'll discard a card. And then how likely are they to leave the frog back to block? If they leave it back to block, it's going to die to heat. If they attack, I can go Arcanist, heat the The Archaeologist didn't have lethal. If I heat the Frog instead, we don't have lethal even if we Tarfire them. So yeah, let's just make them discard their last card, I think. So Thoughtseize. Value Town. So now if we draw a black source, we get to just haste Kroxa. No need to Tarfire now. Well, if we wait on Tarfire, then they could potentially discard a worse card to the Tarfire, right? So we don't give them the choice of discarding like the worst of their two cards. If I shifting Wilderness Saga my upkeep, it will gain the chapter during main phase. If I do that twice, I can infinite constructs. Yeah. This is something that you can also do with what's the card called? Thespian Stage. Okay, so they find a Goryo's for their Atraxa. We could Inquisition the Goryo's if we need to off the Arcanist. But does a Tarfire give me lethal? Looks like it does. I could just flashback Tarfire. That's 7. We know their last card. I've been loving your experiment with Fomo and Jund, and now Director Shell. Have you tried it in any Naya colors for Flage? I've had Boros for Flage and Hollow One. I kind of think Boros Hollow One with Flage is the best Hollow One shell. I played it in a challenge. We went 2-2, losing twice to Domain Zoo, and my build was not really prepared for a little bit of a Suskin session. We played we played Flage and Hollow. I thought it was like so incredible. I just didn't have a good plan for Leyline Scion, and we lost twice to it. But I do recommend that build. Okay, I'm gonna bring in 2 spell bombs. Maybe we should have a 3rd spell bomb on the board. But nice to be up a game again. Yeah, they're probably assuming that if I'm targeting the Tarfire, I have lethal somehow, and I'm not punting. I think that makes some sense. Because obviously I'm just splashing back Inquisition on the Goryo's if I don't have it. Okay, I revealed Jegantha. We are on the draw. Would it be correct to play some Bolt over Tarfire? No, I think 4 Tarfire is really mandatory. I know it's kind of weird. Having a heat for like a frog is pretty nice. I'm going to keep this one on the draw. I think it's also pretty borderline. Someone thought about trying Teamer Fomo for Mockingbird and some counters in the board. I mean, you just have to have more, I think, than I could copy a Fomo with a Mockingbird, and I could have counterspells on the board. You have to have, like what does the rest of the deck look like? I'm having a hard time visualizing it, I suppose. But I agree that there could be something to that line of thinking. Okay. Probably gonna just play. Well, okay, because now that I've drawn this Arena of Glory, it's a little bit more tempting to just Thoughtseize first. I think I want to be more mana efficient. Is Ragavan so bad nowadays? We haven't played here. I mean, Ragavan I think is worse than all of our other threats. And one thing that is like maybe not that obvious is a huge part of our plan is against Boros. Most of our creatures have 3 toughness, so we can just Pyroclasm them, which is part of the reason why I'm not playing Amped Raptor is to have this Pyroclasm plan against Boros. This has been very effective in Jund Delirium. Part of the reason why that matchup has a good matchup against Boros. And a big part of the reason why I beat Boros twice in my testing in my 5-0 league yesterday. And so, Ragavan is very bad against Boros, and I will say this: if you are playing this deck and you are not good against Boros or Energy, or Boros or Mardu, you really have to make as many concessions to that matchup as possible because it is just so common and so hard if you just haven't completely tuned your deck to line up well against it, which is what I've tried to do here. Arcanist also I think seems kind of nice in that matchup too, but it's a bit early. All right, so they graveyard a Spell Snare. I'm almost definitely going to use all of my mana this turn, so I think I'm going to bobble my opponent before I Thoughtseize, just get the most info. Watery Grave. So they do have the Binding. So let's just take the Goryo's, knowing that we have plenty of removal for the Emperor. think I'm going to exert the Arena of Glory to hit them for 4. It does get a little weird, right? Because when our opponent exiles Tarfire to Emperor of Bones, I lose Delirium, and then they can adapt in response to the heat. So opponent's hand is Watery Grave, Cephalid Coliseum, Emperor of Bones. This Thoughtseize also won't be that effective. And they do leave up the adapt. So unfortunately, I don't hit Delirium. But I can still attack, because if our opponent adapts, we could just heat the Emperor in response. Adapt is sorcery? It is not. I'm like 99% sure, but I guess... Judge is adapt only as a sorcery. I think it's only... It only does anything if there's a counter. Fingers crossed, no Entomb. Okay, so now I can go heat the Emperor, and they can adapt in response, but then they won't be able to adapt again. I guess I should have let them target the Atraxa first, because then it would be exiled and they can't top deck Goryo. So that actually seems like a pretty big mistake on my part. We know our opponent's last card is a land. Do not want to draw Thoughtseize. Yeah, the Coliseum. They don't have 7 cards in the yard, though. And I no longer have Delirium to untap my Jegantha. I guess I could Thoughtseize my own fear of missing out. I'm just going to Thoughtseize them. So if I haste Jegantha, I put my opponent down to 3 unless they double block. Is this Lurrus companionable? Yeah, Lurrus is a 3-2 and Jegantha is a 5-5 though. So like there's basically no reason to play Lurrus in your modern deck. Like you can only cast 1 spell from the yard each turn. I guess if you take infinite turns, you cast infinite things, but that's not very likely. Oh, for timeless purpose? Yeah, play Lurrus. Okay, so they build another Atraxa, so I feel less bad about my punt, and then they do grab an Ephemerate. Do they know the line? They do know the line. I played against an opponent who didn't know this the other day. Okay, go to game 3. Maybe I just need to have more Tarfires. Not sure what we can cut. This Kroxa can be kind of bad. Can also be very good. The line is Ephemerate your Emperor of Bones, so you get the counters off of it so you can adapt again. I played against an opponent recently who didn't know you could do that. I'm going to keep this, I think. No, you can't cut Bowmasters against the Faithful Mending deck, I think. Also, like, it triggers on Frog, which is, like, sometimes it's pretty awkward for them. Like, I might just main phase Bowmaster here, I'm not sure. I think it seems fine. Needle. I mean, Needle for Frog is okay, I guess. There's a Frog. Got a lot of options here. I think I'm just gonna try to get Delirium. Tarfire Heat. If they have, you know, Gorios plus Atraxa, it's obviously pretty bad. Really? Okay, I guess that makes some sense. Over Wrath of Skies is interesting. Might be good. Might have both. Yeah, I still feel like they probably should have discarded a card, but seems fine. So they exile the Bowmaster instead of the Tarfire, so they can put into play, and they put into play now. So if I Spellbomb them, I get Delirium. Then I can go Unholy Heat the Emperor of Bones and put them in a very tough spot. The problem, of course, is like using my Spellbomb in this way feels very bad. But I think I have to in this spot. Don't really care too much about this, I think. I have Solitude. I'm not sure how I'm feeling. Maybe we should have Heating Crack Spellbomb in response. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when that would come up, right? Like, what does that play around? Yeah, they didn't ping my Fomo, which is probably wrong. But they maybe just have like another sweeper or something. Just less frog food. I see. Yeah, probably was correct. Although I wonder if there's anything we could have drawn off the Spellbomb that changes it. So they probably have an Ephemerate if they're doing this. 2 cards left in their hands. No attracts in the yard. Always a big part of this dynamic. So we can Tarfire the Solitude now. We could also like wait a turn. Dude, imagine drawing Arena of Glory next turn. So we need to wait a turn so we don't play into the Ephemerate, but I'm going to kill the frog now. Could have just resolved Spellbomb before exile. We wouldn't have had all the info. Yeah. Well, we had to crack the Spellbomb first, though, right? Because then... You have to crack the Spellbomb first, though, don't we? So they have 2 cards in their hand. Their draw has been pretty good. I draw Arena of Glory! Let's fucking go, dude. No! Oh. Dude, Arcanist is kind of good. It's their hand Solitude white card. Back to back, huh? So if I flashback the Tarfire, I lose my Delirium, so I think I'm just going to tap Fomo. And then have lethal next turn. Yeah, Arcanist counts for free. The card is banned in Legacy. And it got better in Modern thanks to these 2 cards, maybe. Wrath of Skies? Okay, they have a split. I might just Jegantha them for lethal. They're 5, and I've got a hasty Jegantha available, and I top deck Nihil Spellbomb. Draws have been so good. This is still dumb. I still think Jegantha should be banned, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to play the bannable cards. Arena of Glory will get better every set. I mean, probably won't get worse. Room for Unearths. I would play Claim Fame, but if I was going to play an effect like that, but I don't really think an effect like that would be optimal. Like, I would play second Kroxa before first Claim Fame or Unearth. Yeah, better than Luris, huh? Oh, wait, not better than Luris. What the heck? But still, like, just, you have to Solitude, pitch your Atraxa here is pretty crazy. Not going to be cycling the Spellbomb very aggressively. Maybe that should go without saying. Spike, I heard you considering playing Stairs of the Ring gotten that bad. I don't know. I'm having a bit more fun in Modern now, but yeah, I don't know. I just didn't have that much fun last week. And then I top 8 the challenge, and then I 5-0'd with this deck, and I'm a bit more into it, and I didn't end up playing any Standard, but also, like, Standard looks pretty fun, is maybe something I should also say is that format looks good, and if a format looks good, I'm interested in playing it. Bana, or graveyard. Uh-oh, they keep a card on top very fast. Is it really Emperor of Bones? You're shitting me, dude! I think I should dig for a removal spell. It's actually really good for me if they Kroxa me. Because I can haste my Nethergoyf. They probably won't. They're thinking about it. Yes! I don't know what they're doing this draw step. It's just bad, right? Hopefully I can still keep this 4 power. Not sure. So I can exile Unholy Heat, land, Fomo. And it shrinks to 5/6, and they have to jump block. You could just haste your Kroxa if they do. No, it's finality countered. Okay, so playing Nethergoyf plays around Solitude. Holding it plays around another Lockdown or Wrath of Skies, but they've already used 2 of those. They maybe have 1 more, maybe 2 more, but it's just like more likely they have a targeted removal spell, so I'm going to play that Goyf up. Very cool game. Very fun game. Okay, we are 4-0. Pretty exciting. I'm now 9-0 with this deck. That's pretty damn sick. I'm going to go use the restroom. Be right back. Jegantha revealed. No Violent Urges. It's just not right for this deck. This deck is not a pure aggro deck like the Jund one. Violent Urge was very, very good in the Jund deck, though. I certainly do recommend it. How was the Black-White Overload Fellow deck? It was kind of medium. I didn't revise it. We also it was kind of classic in between challenge deck where we just kind of puts on a mold of 5. Kind of classic in between challenge deck where we sort of just played 1 game and then scooped the match to focus on the challenge. So I need to do some more testing off stream with it too. All right, no Jegantha, mold of 5, Blood Crypt, DRC. So it could be Mardu, could be Hollow One again. I'm pretty interested in Tarfire being able to kill the Channeler. Okay, but now that I've drawn Inquisition, I think it's likely enough that I won't have enough juice to discard. Three types now. So Thoughtseizing the Fomo doesn't give them an extra type. I'm definitely going to Thoughtseize the Fomo. When we crack our fetch, we'll have Delirium, so we can heat the Goyf next turn. So looking like we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, this is Hollow One, not the Mirror. Our second Hollow One opponent of this league. I'm down to 12. I think I'll just discard that to my FOMO next turn. I have 6 types. I'd love to draw my own Goyf. So they're probably going to escape here. They have to shrink this at least to 3, 4. They're going to exile a Phoenix, a Bauble, and a Push. And that'll be 2, 3. Goyf is so good. I think I'm going to FOMO this turn. If they draw like Burning Cree or Lore, I'm going to feel pretty upset maybe, but... Okay, now I can go block and Tarfire if they attack. So if I see a land on top, it's kind of interesting because I might just want a Jegantha in hand. I see another Bowmaster. Bowmaster is pretty good against them. I don't think I need a second though. I have I think enough better top decks. So these bounce off each other, and then I'm just going to go ahead and offer the trade. Is there a bunch of versions of Bowmaster? You can play Amped Raptor, I guess. Feels so weird to not be playing Raptor in the shell, but I think it's weirdly correct. Okay, obviously insane top deck. Although at least we have this. I should target the Goyf so they can't attack for 2. It's like a -1 damage for me, +2 life for me. Then they Tarfire the token, sending the Goyf all the way up to 4/5. Pretty good series of draws for them. I'm taking 4 down to 6. Okay, so next turn we get to Kroxa and FOMO the Kroxa. This puts my opponent down to 13. Kroxa triggers alone, put them down to put them down pretty low. Pretty good top deck. They cycle a hollow one, which gives me a blocker. I'm just gonna ping them. Multiples of 3 now for Kroxa. You have to chump? Well, not technically. I probably would chump here, yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so close to lethal. They don't have Delirium anymore because of the Phoenix, though. Nightmare with the 47 months, thank you so much. Are they dead to my Kroxa? They don't have a fetch land in their hand, they would have killed me with it. So let's say they're going to 9, or sorry, they're not going to go to 9 off the Kroxa. Wow, I even have the option now to heat Tarfire. Okay, so if they don't have a, let's say they discard a spell, then they discard a non-spell. So they're going to go down to 9. They're going to chump block first, and then they're going to take 6 plus 4 is 10. So that this is lethal with Kroxa, assuming I can maintain Delirium, which should be pretty trivial. So let's go escape Kroxa. I have 2 Tarfires, exile 2 Tarfire, 1 heat, exile 2 of my 3 fetches, exile an Inquisition. They discard thrice. Oh yeah, they do discard thrice. Okay. Up a game. To bring in a couple Nihil Spellbombs again. This is what we did last time and we won. Just gonna run it back. Yeah, been a very fun deck. Would be crazy to double trophy with it. Despite me not having maybe good enablers for Nethergoyf, they have Burning Inquiry in their deck, which can make my Goyf very big. This happened last time we played the matchup. So I'm gonna keep not really a hand we can super consider mulliganing either. Hopefully they don't have Wraith, right? I think they likely would be cycling Wraith on their turn. Although they could be playing around it like this. Okay. That was a scary pause. Response to the fetch, kill the channeler. Surgical? Okay, Surgical, my Unholy Heat in response. Graveyard's Leyline of the Void, which allows their channeler to live. Them having Leyline is very bad for me. I really need to win this game. And then they keep a card on top. They have Leyline and Surgical. Okay, I'm down to 14. My opponent has 3 cards in their hand, and they just passed despite keeping a card on top. So I guess that almost definitely means that they have a copy of Orcish Bowmaster in their hand. Is there a reason to use Tarfire over Shock? Yes, this counts as 2 types for Nethergoyf and for Delirium. Am I basically dead to Leyline? Rest in peace? Yeah, but these cards are just not very common. I think I have to Thoughtseize here. They're setting... I guess if they had Inquiry, they would have already Inquiried, though. Holo's just pretty bad in their hand, I think. Might have been better just play second Nethergoyf. I'm not sure. I think you should play 2 Surveillance and Hollow One, by the way. Not the biggest deal, but most people just play 1. I've been pretty happy with 2. Okay, so I'm down to 7. They have 2 cards in their hand. You know, me not having the Heats also just makes like my Arcanist top decks worse. Although that's kind of a nice one. I mean, it's not literally no one plays it. It's just not a very common card. It's a card that I think you're allowed to try to avoid. Why didn't they cycle? I guess they're just hoping to top deck something for it. Okay, so my opponent's going to go down to 12. Their hand is just a Hollow One. I imagine they cycle at end of turn. I'm going to play a 5/6 and pass back. Fomo, always such a good top deck. So we want to see them fetch and not like their top card, which is what happens here. They get a swamp so they can cast a Bowmaster potentially. Killing the Fomo makes like Phoenix like a much worse. Looks like they didn't top deck Bowmaster. Yeah, my top decks have definitely been good. They're going to Goyf. Can they keep this as a 6/5 or 6/7? They can. So that's bad for me. Best top deck, Nihil Spellbomb. That one's not so bad either. They do a Phoenix though. They would have killed me if they had it last turn, maybe. I guess I don't know if they can bestow it exactly well enough. Don't think I have any attacks there. 2 cards in their hand. Something they could be taking on here is Hollow One, seeing if they want to cycle it or just cast it as a 5-mana 4/4. They could also be tanking, unfortunately, on Detective's Phoenix to see if they can kill me with it. And I'm not sure. Looks like it is the Phoenix. They can kill me with it. Unfortunate. Going to game 3. It'd be very cool to leyline if they have it. They have surgicals and leyline, so it's kind of unclear what their split is. Hopefully it's just like one leyline. No leyline in play. Huge news for us. Maybe I wonder if my opponent boarded out their Burning Inquiries. Inquiry is kind of bad against the Bowmaster Nethergoyf deck. 3 leyline, 2 surgical usually. Okay, cool. They have a Street Wraith. They can save the Channeler here. Yeah, now you can just discard it easier with the FOMO and also Inquiry Lore. I agree. Leyline seems pretty nice. So they have a one. They did not crack the Bauble despite having a 1-land keep. It's good news for us. So maybe they have another removal spell. I mean, if they had another removal spell, they maybe should have cracked the Bauble and then killed it in upkeep or something. Okay, so my Goyf becomes a 5/6. I'm going to cycle the Cling. I'm going to target the Leyline instead of the Tarfire. Tarfire is one less type. Leyline makes Phoenix worse, which I think is a little bit more important. It is certainly kind of marginal. Although now I can just Arcanist the Tarfire, I guess. So Arcanist the Cling to exile the Tarfire. It's a 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess I could. No, if I Tarfire, I put it to 3 because I shrink the Goyf, so it's still better to do this. Okay, I guess I get to cast that now. Which also grows the Goyf, but not for this turn. Back-to-back trophies. First one off stream, but after a bit of a trophy drought, it's cool to get 2 in a row. Let's pop these chests open, and I'm gonna make maybe a little bit of changes to the sideboard. The main deck, I guess, is feeling solid enough not to tweak too much. Yeah, try for 3, I guess. Anything juicy? I think these are my other trophy chests too. Not the best packs. Yeah, Raptor's an okay replacement for Arcanist. It could be better than Arcanist too. I'm not exactly convinced that it isn't.